Hey, Alan Rowland again. Today I want to present to you a short video, and it's going to deal with one of my heroes, one of the early founders of Jasper, Alabama. His name is Franklin Asbury Gamble. He went by the name of Frank. Let me go to my video camera here. There's his name, Franklin Asbury Gamble. If you'd like to see what he looks like, there he is. I took this photograph not too long ago. It's posted in the Walker County Probate Judge's office. And if you want to stop by there and look at that, or you're getting your driver's license renewed or whatever, you can find that. Here's another rendering of him, Franklin Asbury Gamble. This was done by my dad. My dad made this little pencil illustration of him a few years ago. And in fact, I dedicated my book, and some of you may be familiar with it, which is Walker County Civil War Veterans. And it's dedicated to the life of Walker County veterans, and also dedicated to Franklin Asbury Gamble. All right, now to tell you a little bit about him, this is the days of his life from the 23rd of September in 1830, and he passed away on the 5th of October 1895, and his funeral was in First Methodist Church, Jasper, Alabama. He was born in Shelby County, Alabama, near the present-day community of Calera, to his parents, John and Jane Mills Gamble. They moved to Jasper, Alabama. Actually, their home was on the eastern side of Jasper. I'm sure it's not there today. I've been unable to locate that. And by 1855, he was a Jasper businessman. This is Frank Gamble. Now, remember, he was born in 1830, so at this time he was 25 years of age. Jasper was an early community. Walker County was an early community then. In case you've forgotten, Walker County was created in 1823. So if you look at that 1823, and Frank Gamble is a businessman in 1855, you're still in the first couple of decades of the history of Walker County. By 1859, 1862, he served as a probate judge in Walker County. And this was his first tenure as probate judge. But then the Civil War broke out. And in 1862, he organized a company for the 28th Alabama Infantry Regiment. It was actually Company 28. If you'd like to read more about that in this book on Walker County Civil War Veterans, everything you ever want to know about the 28th Alabama Infantry is found within the contents of that book. He served in the Civil War for just a couple of years. His health just was not very strong at that time, and so he actually returned to Jasper, Alabama. He became a Walker County administrator from 1865 to 1868. Again, a businessman from 1869 on. And crazily enough, he became in 1874, became the owner and editor of the Daily Mountain Eagle, and subsequently would sell the Mountain Eagle to a person in one of my next presentations, Lycurgus Breckenridge Musgrove. All right, some of the other contributions that Franklin Asbury Gamble would contribute. In 1877, 1886, once again, he became the probate judge of Walker County. 1886 to 1888, he was president of Walker County Bank. Later, he became the owner of Gamble Mines near Carvin Hill. A little community of Gamble is named after him. Now, I'll mention that shortly, again, in a very short period of time. He was also a minister, an active member of the First Methodist Church in downtown Jasper. Now, incidentally, much of that information that I've given to you today comes from John Martin Domhart's book, The History of Walker County. It's a fascinating book. I use it all the time. Unfortunately, the history leaves off about the early 1830s, so it does not, of course, address anything after that period of time, and you're under your own devices to find a solution to that if you have some questions with it. All righty. He was married to Jerusha A. Freeman in 1875. Her father was a Methodist minister, been a Methodist minister for 62 years. His name was James Freeman, and that was his wife Jerusha's father. And Jerusha died in 1875 at the age of, I think she was 40 years of age. And then Franklin remarried, or I should say he married again, to Martha Owen in 1877. Mary Owen. Mary was the daughter of Judge Thomas and Dolly Owen. Some of the legacies that you'll find: Franklin Asbury Gamble, Gamble Park in Jasper, Alabama, Gamble Avenue, Jasper, Alabama, Gamble Way. Now, if you're not familiar with Gamble Way, if you take yourself where Maddox Intermediate School, Maddox Middle School is today, there's a park that is to the east side of that. There's an old fireplace there, over barbecue pit place. And at one time, that was a very, very nice park in downtown Jasper, Alabama. It's called Gamble Way. And as I mentioned to you earlier, the community of Gamble itself. Share a few photographs with you. Here we see a traffic, or you can see a traffic sign, obviously there, stop. And you can see above that identifying Gamble Avenue, named after Franklin Asbury Gamble. Gamble Park, you see it right there. And that's just taken from one angle, looking at it from the north end, looking south. Here's another view here. This is looking from the Walker College Bevel State side, looking down towards the, shall we say, the north and to the western part here. Now, for the Gamble family, most of them anyway, that I can identify, are buried in the old cemetery above Jasper. This is called the Jasper Memorial Cemetery, up by the First Baptist Church, up by the Presbyterian Church. Unfortunately, today that cemetery is in ruins. I do not know why the city of Jasper doesn't take care of this. You know, many of our early leaders, you know, are interred there. They're buried there. And gosh, it is a disgrace here to the city of Jasper. And incidentally, here's a copy here of the obituary. Came out today, I think it was out of the Mountain Eagle, when Franklin Asbury Gamble passed away. If your eyes are better than mine, you can read through this. I've read through it, but it just tells you about the huge crowds that had gathered there for the funeral. Here's a photograph showing you Franklin Asbury Gamble's burial site. Now, this headstone here has been broken in half, and that's unfortunate here. Vandals did that many, many years ago. At one point, the city of Jasper actually went back in the cemetery and made some repairs, but it has since fallen into a state of disrepair again. Now, the Sons of Confederate Veterans established this marker here. It's also right where Franklin Asbury Gamble's headstone, that's a broken headstone there. It just identifies Frank Gamble's resting place. And let's see here. This is his wife. When you look at this photograph, it has the appearance that the tombstone is upright, but it is not. Vandals have gone into the cemetery and they kicked over the tombstones, broke them. And again, I hate to keep beating this to death. I wish the city of Jasper would go in. It doesn't take a whole lot. You can get some epoxy cement, and you can repair these tombstones. And I wish they would do that there. And like I said, she died at the age of 40. That was his first wife, Jerusha. Here's one of his daughters, Virginia. And again, that tombstone has been kicked over. Headstone's been kicked over. She died at the age of 23. And here's another photograph of his daughter, Ida. She died at the age of 23. Likewise, here's another daughter. Her name is Sally, and she died at the age of 2 years of age. You got to remember this. You know, this is going way back to the 1870s. Life expectancy often was very, very short. Here's William, a son. He died at age 1, I believe it was. And then the last photograph from the second marriage here with Mary. This is Dolly, and Dolly never survived her first year. The grave marker, burial site of Mary, I've been able to identify. Researching this, she's buried in the Memorial Cemetery there above Jasper, but I cannot find her graves, and nor can I find the children that she bore other than that of Dolly. Alrighty, so anyway, that's a short presentation on one of the early leaders of Jasper, Alabama, Frank Gamble. I admire him very, very much, and maybe we'll explore some of these other early members too. One of the next presentations I'm going to give to you, and I gave one to you shortly ago about the Bankhead family, but we're going to go into the Musgrove family, and that's another exciting presentation. Alrighty, thank you very much for your attention.